I still remember the warning my grandmother gave me before I embarked on the isolation experiment. She told me that some places are better left unexplored, and that the house we had chosen was one of them. I didn't listen, of course, and now I'm left to ponder the consequences of my actions. The experiment was supposed to be a simple one: 5 friends, 30 days, and a haunted house. We were tasked with exploring the depths of human psychology, but what we found was something far more sinister. As I sit here, reflecting on the events that transpired, I'm still trying to make sense of it all. The house was old, with creaky floorboards and a musty smell that seemed to cling to everything. We had all been warned about the rumors surrounding the house, but we didn't believe them. We were skeptics, after all, and we didn't put stock in ghost stories and urban legends. But as we settled in for the long haul, we began to realize that something was off. Doors would slam shut on their own, and the sound of footsteps echoed down the hallways at night. At first, we dismissed it as the house settling, but deep down, we knew that something more was at play. The first few days of the experiment were uneventful, but as the days turned into weeks, we started to notice strange occurrences. Equipment would go missing, and strange noises could be heard coming from the basement. We tried to brush it off as the house settling, but the noises were too loud, too frequent. It was as if someone, or something, was trying to get our attention. I remember one night in particular when I woke up to the sound of my name being called. I sat up in bed, my heart racing, and that's when I saw it. A figure, tall and imposing, standing in the doorway of my room. I tried to scream, but my voice was frozen in my throat. The figure didn't move, didn't speak. It just stood there, watching me. And then, just as suddenly as it appeared, it vanished. I was left shaken, wondering if I had really seen what I thought I had. But as the days went by, the occurrences grew more frequent, more intense. We started to experience strange visions, hear disembodied voices. It was as if the house was trying to communicate with us, to tell us something. But what? As the experiment wore on, we started to turn on each other. Paranoia set in, and we began to suspect that one of our own was behind the strange occurrences. We started to argue, to fight, and the tension in the house grew thicker than the walls. I remember one night when we all sat down to dinner, and the atmosphere was palpable. The air was thick with hostility, and it seemed as though the house itself was feeding off our negative energy. And then, just as we were about to eat, the lights flickered and died. We were plunged into darkness, and the silence was oppressive. It was as if the house was waiting for us to make our next move, to see how we would react. And then, the whispers started. Faint at first, but growing louder, more urgent. It was a soft, raspy voice, and it seemed to be coming from all around us. The words were indistinguishable, but the tone was unmistakable, a low, menacing growl that sent shivers down our spines. We tried to shine our flashlights around the room, but the beam would always seem to falter, as if something was standing just out of sight. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, and we started to feel like we were being herded towards some unknown fate. We tried to leave the house, but the doors were stuck, as if sealed by an invisible force. The windows wouldn't budge, and we were trapped. And then, the visions started. I saw my grandmother, standing in the doorway of my room, her eyes black as coal. She reached out a hand, beckoned me to follow her, and I felt a chill run down my spine. I knew then that I had to get out of the house, to escape the clutches of whatever evil force was at work. But it was too late. The others were experiencing their own visions, their own terrors, and we were all trapped in a living nightmare. The house seemed to be shifting, changing around us, like a kaleidoscope of horrors. And at the center of it all was the voice, the whispering voice that seemed to be pulling the strings. I realized then that we had stumbled into something much bigger than ourselves, something ancient and malevolent. And I knew that we might not make it out alive. I remember the day we discovered the hidden room. It was tucked away behind a bookshelf, and it seemed to have been hidden for decades. The air inside was stale, musty, and the smell of decay hung heavy. We found old newspapers, yellowed with age, and a series of cryptic letters that seemed to point to some dark conspiracy. The letters were written in code, but the words "Get out while you still can" were scrawled in the margin, in red ink. It was as if someone had been trying to warn us, to tell us to leave the house before it was too late. But we didn't listen. We were too far gone, too deep in the experiment. And now, I'm not sure if we'll ever be able to escape. The house seems to have a hold on us, a grip that's tightening by the day. I've seen things that I never thought I'd see: shadowy figures, ghostly apparitions, and unexplained phenomena that defy explanation. And I've started to wonder if I'll ever be able to leave this place behind. As the days turn into weeks, the occurrences have grown more frequent, more intense. I've started to experience strange visions, hear disembodied voices. It's as if the house is trying to communicate with me, to tell me something. But what? I've tried to research the history of the house, to find out what happened here all those years ago. But every door I open leads to more questions, more mysteries. I've started to feel like I'm trapped in a never-ending labyrinth, with no way out. And the others, they're not faring much better. We're all starting to turn on each other, to suspect that one of our own is behind the strange occurrences. The tension is palpable, and I'm not sure how much longer we can keep this up. The house is taking its toll on us, wearing us down with its relentless barrage of strange occurrences. I'm starting to wonder if we'll ever be able to escape, or if we'll be trapped here forever, at the mercy of the house and its dark forces. I've started to feel like I'm losing my grip on reality. The house is playing tricks on me, making me question what's real and what's not. I've seen things that can't be explained, experienced things that defy the laws of nature. And I'm starting to wonder if I'll ever be able to escape this place, to leave the house and its dark forces behind. The others are no better, and we're all starting to turn on each other. The tension is building, and I'm not sure how much longer we can keep this up. We're trapped in a living nightmare, and I'm not sure if we'll ever wake up. The house is a monster, a living, breathing entity that's feasting on our fear. And I'm starting to wonder if we'll ever be able to escape its clutches. I've tried to find a way out, to discover the secret to the house's strange power. But every door I open leads to more questions, more mysteries. And I'm starting to feel like I'm running out of time. As I sit here, reflecting on the events that have transpired, I'm still trying to make sense of it all. The house is a mystery, a puzzle that I'll never be able to fully understand. But one thing is certain: I'll never be the same again. The experiment has changed me, has left its mark on my psyche. And I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to recover. The house is a haunted place, a place of dark forces and unexplained phenomena. And I'm just a pawn in its game, a game that I'll never be able to win. I'm trapped in a living nightmare, and I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to escape. The house is a monster, a living, breathing entity that's feasting on my fear. And I'm starting to wonder if I'll ever be able to escape its clutches. The experiment is over, but the real horror is just beginning. And I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to survive it.